Hi, I'm Jessica Bastidas, and I'm currently a junior attending the Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore, Maryland, where I am pursuing a bachelor's in illustration and human studies with a minor in art history and a master's in art education. The credits offered through this summer program directly align with my major, while simultaneously providing me with the crucial first-hand experience to better understand communication, sustainability, writing, and illustration. The American anthropologist Margaret Mead said, "As the traveler who has once been from home is wiser than he who has never left his own doorstep, so a knowledge of one other culture should sharpen our ability to scrutinize more steadily, to appreciate more lovingly our own." Micah's summer-intensive Unspoiled Africa was a month-long program where I explored the small island nation located off the coast of Africa in the Gulf of Guinea, known as Sao Tome and Principe. Additionally, I spent a few days in Cape Verde. Relatively untouched by tourism, this area of Africa is home to a very rich cultural heritage, where people continue to practice ritual, plays, dances dating back to the 16th century, including Chihuli and Danza Congo. Conversely, the area has a vibrant contemporary life, demonstrated by the glut of artisans ranging from carvers and textile workers to painters. While there, I studied with a group of artisans at the Brazilian school. Principally, I apprenticed under the papermakers, who taught me how to hack down banana trees with machetes. Through a process of fermentation and natural acid baths, we broke down the materials into fibers. These fibers were then suspended into a liquid solution to make a pulp. The pulp was then applied to screens to make papers. These papers were used in books and other goods. In this community, I worked side by side with weavers, jewelry makers, embroiderers, seamstresses, and so on. I also studied with woodworkers and learned to make wooden masks and reliefs. I exhibited work at the Cacao Space alongside of San Tome's foremost painters, sculptors, and craftsmen. My learning was not isolated to one area. Every other day I was introduced to a new village, be it a fishing community or a place where agriculture was supported by cocoa farmers on old colonial plantations. Many of these villages were juxtaposed against the exotic biodiversity of the surrounding jungle, home to many endemic animal and plant species found only in this area of the world. This trip has changed me and it has helped me to grow as an artist, writer, and teacher. My time in Sao Tome, in particular, has demonstrated the degree of cultural synthesis that can occur between two dissimilar communities. Sao Tome and Principe has served as a platform for the synthesis of African and European traditions. The theatrical practice of Chihuli and Danza Congo reveal how two very opposite cultures can manifest a form of coexistence through the performing arts. Furthermore, in religious practice, Brazilian churches are beginning to incorporate elements of animism with the Catholic tradition first introduced by Portuguese colonists. Lastly, there exists a dialect of Portuguese found only in São Tomé, because although Portuguese is the area's official language, immigrants who come from the mainland and Cape Verde use Creole. As a Westerner, I would like to accomplish this level of hybridity and cross-cultural communication, but through a peaceful means. I witnessed firsthand the level art and writing has to affect an audience, even one that does not share my own language or background. I hope to continue to explore the rich oral and written tradition of places all around the world. In Africa, in particular, I aim to adapt the level to which the characters are integrated into the surroundings, the plethora of anthropomorphized imagery, nonlinear narratives, and the open celebration of community, sexuality, and musicality. Furthermore, I hope to continue to develop skills by continual apprenticeship under artisans, so I can translate my understanding of new mediums in a manner that will effectively synergize text and imagery, so that I can successfully communicate central morals to an international audience. Without the Fund for Education Abroad and all of the organization's generous donors, it would have been impossible financially for me to go abroad. I was afraid that as the middle of 5 kids, I would never be able to afford to pay for college, let alone leave the country. But FEA has made this dream a reality. This trip provided me with a unique vantage point of someone else's culture, through which I can more clearly and accurately assess my own. Now I can better understand how I, as an individual, fit into this world. Thank you, a million times over. Sao Tome and Principe served as a strategic part of the slave trade, creating a diverse ancestry of various European and West African people. As a poor island microstate, Sao Tome has limited options as a result of small markets, poor infrastructure, high transportation costs, and a lack of trained personnel and entrepreneurs. Overseas development aid is the main source of income for the state. In this economic climate, corruption and inefficiency abound. Public indebtedness is growing, and there are periodic riots over shortages. However, despite the poverty of many of the communities, the people, particularly the children, are resilient, vibrant, and at times painfully inquisitive. I recall staying with the family up in the mountains. Here, the Satomeans live in modest homes, eclipsed by the empty shelves of the plantation buildings once homes to the Portuguese. A mammoth abandoned hospital stood at one end, and on the other a botanical garden. I sat somewhere in between, sketching and painting the room that housed a family of 7. The woman was making dinner over hot coals: fish, rice, bananas. Sliced papaya sat on one shelf. Chickens and ducklings ran between her legs while a dog lounged under the sink, and a cat raced across the roof. There were children gathering round curiously as I drew, grabbing pencils from my bag. One sat next to me and didn't do anything for a long time, before finally mustering the courage to ask for paper. He drew with me, concentrated, while the others pulled at my hair, gesturing wildly for more of their friends to join. A mother nodded, allowing 2 of her daughters to stop temporarily in roasting corn so they could join in. A brother and sister sat in front of me, demonstrating their skills at playing hand games. Soon I could not see the building I was drawing because I was surrounded by so many little bodies, furiously trying to braid my perpetually tangled hair. Their grandmother would try to shush them away, scolding them harshly, but they would return a few minutes later, bringing small gifts in apology: a stick of sugar cane, which one boy would skillfully peel with his teeth, or a cocoa seed that a little girl would break open on a stone. Every day I was met with this same generosity.